when people were talking about David Lynch, right, I had to sort of log off. But not because I was sad. No, I was, let me take it back. I was sad that day, and just trigger warning, I'm going to talk about death quite flippantly here, and COVID quite flippantly, a little bit deeper. So just trigger warnings for what I'm going to say next. Because so many people died that day. And I hate January for that reason. It's why I'm kind of doing the stream, just to kind of get me in the mood for a birthday. January is never a good month because what tends to happen is, because of like the pressures on the NHS, because of like Christmas sickness and all that kind of stuff, a lot of people tend to die. And it is just a thing that happens, and it sucks. So I always prepare for death in January. This year, it was people's in the soaps that died. And if you don't know me, I love a good soap. I love a good soap. I love soap characters, and I think I'm actually writing something that I need to finish once I get off the stream about the importance of soaps in society and their role in it. And two people died. One, we call her, like, I say we. People call her Nanny McQueen. I think her name's Diane Langton. And yeah, she died. She was in Hollyoaks since 2007, and she's also in Only Fools and Horses. And she was just in Hollyoaks as well. So a part of me was just like, oh, wow. Like, because in Hollyoaks, it kind of was almost borderline perfect, because she, like, her last line was, I'm going to go off to Spain and be fabulous and blah, blah, blah. And that was just like, it sounds horrible. It was like, it's kind of the perfect way to go. Like, it was just so nana, right? But then someone else died, not even like the day after. It was someone called Paul Denan, and I don't know this man at all. So like, but he was also in Hollyoaks, and he was someone my mum recognised, and she was kind of shocked when she heard he died, and it was like, it was hard to like close my phone, went away. I was like, Nana McQueen, that was enough for me. Opened my phone, David Lynch died. I was like, for fuck's sake. I want to talk about David Lynch quickly, because I have many opinions about him. I think David Lynch kind of suffered from celebrity, and it was interesting to see that in his last few years. And I don't mean to say like he was in bed like writing tweets like, oh no, it's so sad to be famous. Nah. What I recognize with David Lynch is, I think people, like, he operated as an artist but as a celebrity at the same time. And not to say he didn't play into that, because, you know, white men, but that also hindered a lot of his process. Like, he couldn't get funding for things, or he couldn't continue with ideas, he couldn't practice directing. And the unfortunate thing, because with celebrity, you are essentially an agent of the state, so you are basically like, you have to work within these parameters. And then outside of that, and I see that celebrity is, it is such the antithesis of what an artist is. And I think I saw that with David Lynch, because I'm like, your artistry is fucking amazing, fam. But the way people are talking about you, they're not talking about the art, they're talking about just the idea of the person. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what I find really sad, is that they're talking about like the idea of David Lynch, not David Lynch himself. And I think, and to be honest, like, again, he played into it. Like, you know, why are you signing letters for people like that are terrible? Why are you doing this and whatever? The way people are hindered with their creativity due to celebrity, it's why I'm very conscious of the way I create. And like, I think David Lynch kind of hit home because, you know, I studied this man. I have some, you know, those like nefarious white YouTubers who always have like 7-hour videos of just like, let's break down this scene. Let's break down like how the camera operates, blah, blah, blah. I literally sat down and watched all those videos about David Lynch, because I just wanted to know how, like, especially Mindhunter, because they do things with like long shots and angles and stuff. And I just started playing around. I just started playing around, and I think that's why it hit home, because it was like, bro, I was really just watching you a second ago, and now he's dead. And yeah, there are so many artists that suffer from that. There are so many artists that suffer from that. Luther Vandross is. Oh, I'm very scared to watch the documentary of Luther Vandross for that reason, because let's add a blackness into it. Let's add blackness into how you're stifled with being a creative because you're forced to play agents of the state and you're forced to work within parameters. It sucks, man. It sucks. And yeah, I think what I then wanted to sit with, like after that day, which was horrible, and then I found out someone in my family had passed the next day, and it was just like, ooh, mood. I did want to think about how I want to be remembered, right? And I joke about this with friends, like, I promise I am not going to become like the, oh, what is my legacy going to be? I'm not talking about legacy, but I think it made me think about how I wanted to be remembered, because the way that David Lynch was remembered, like, it's almost like he was just a figure, he was a figure for people to use as a told you so, this is why you need to be COVID safe, and or vice versa, it's used as a, oh, this guy created Twin Peaks, he's like, one of the best creators in history, and they kind of wax lyrical about, like, white men and media and blah blah blah. And this is not like humanism to be like everyone's just human, but it's more to think kind of the opposite of that. It's to think about like how we truly don't remember sort of the moments and the peaks and pitfalls and all that about a person. It just tends to be moments remember and that we usually eulogize, like, is almost to fit our own narrative, not just to fit the life that they lived. A lot of people are just saying the thing because they want their moment, kind of what I was harping back to earlier, saying that I think a lot of people just want capital from this moment. When someone dies, they just want capital. They just want to be memorized with them and adjacent with them. They don't necessarily want to change. Like, I can guarantee you there are going to be YouTubers who are going to be like, yes, this man, David Lynch, he created this. RIP to my guy. This is how I relate to it. Cool. Right. He literally said to you, fam, I cannot create. And I'm looking at other people who are creating in the house. But are they going to mention that? And are their behaviours going to change so that they prevent other people from dying? Probably not. Because they're going to probably end up doing the same thing. And I think that is what is sticking with me, is that, like, how do I want to be remembered? Because I've literally created a whole channel and sort of made it, like, I don't know if I've said this out loud properly, but my next project is literally just like, okay, if I die, these are the songs I need to play. Like, Scapegoats, yes, it is about fascism and the rise of fascism and how, like, despair I felt in that moment. But it was also kind of like, I need to get this out. Otherwise people aren't going to remember me, And, like, that is sort of like a really freaky thing to have to sort of deal with emotionally. But I think that the deaths, like, again, having a whole week of death, it kind of just brings you to that point. But yeah, I don't know. And I think when it comes to making art and getting older, especially because I'm 27, and it's not that I don't want to be 27, it's just like the amount of funding that just disappears when you get older is fucking nuts. And you're like, oh, everyone expects me to be an adult now.